In the fall of 2024, a young software intern moved into a pristine 30-story high-rise apartment in downtown Seattle. It was the absolute height of modern architectural predictability, a perfectly geometric world where every single floor was logically numbered, easily accounted for, and exactly where it was supposed to be. Psychologists refer to this kind of strictly ordered environment as a sanctuary. It's a space where human beings feel entirely protected from chaotic outside sides because the physical boundaries are entirely under our control. Our modern sense of safety relies completely on the assumption that these man-made systems and building geometries are infallible. We sleep soundly because we trust the math holding up the walls. But on his very first day, while signing the lease, the intern noticed something odd on the electronic directory board. The floors were listed clearly, 1 through 30. But for a split second, he thought he saw a 31st floor flicker across the screen. This diagram illustrates what happens during a systematic anomaly. This is a minor inconsistency in a trusted, logical framework. When a boundary we rely on is breached, even slightly, it creates a disproportionate spike of psychological unease. He blinked hard, and the impossible number was completely gone. He muttered that it was probably just a reflection. The receptionist smiled, a little too quickly, and said, "Welcome home." Even a minor display error suggests that the logic governing the building isn't as absolute as it appears. It's a small crack in a system designed to be perfect. The first few nights were completely normal. Work, sleep, repeat. Until he came back late one night. It was 2:43 a.m. in an empty, dead quiet lobby. He stepped into the elevator, pressed 30, and began to move up. But after passing floor 22, the car suddenly stopped. The overhead lights flickered. The digital display glitched, skipped the 30th floor entirely, and landed firmly on 31. The doors opened to a hallway featuring the exact same layout as his floor, except the paint was heavily cracked, the lights were dangerously dim, and the silence was deep enough to drown out sound entirely. Look at this clean architectural blueprint of a standard floor layout. Under normal conditions, humans navigate transitional zones like this comfortably. But a liminal space occurs when an environment is structurally familiar, yet intuitively wrong. Our brains recognize the shape, but sound the alarm. The 31st floor replicates the layout, but removing life forces the brain to reject its environment. He stepped out slowly, whispering that this wasn't his floor. The elevator doors immediately closed behind him, unresponsive to the button. As he walked forward, his footsteps echoing too loudly, he realized every single apartment door was uniformly ajar, just enough to suggest hidden observers. Architectural mimicry strips away our spatial defenses. It traps the victim by turning a recognizable safe zone into an uncanny psychological prison. Further down the hall, one door slowly creaked open on its own. He stepped back, freezing in place, because at the far end of the corridor, a solitary figure was standing perfectly still. It had the exact same height, the exact same build, the exact same face. It was him, but it was entirely motionless and unnaturally aware. This plunges straight into the uncanny valley, the severe psychological revulsion triggered when something perfectly mimics a human being, but clearly lacks the essential biological spark of life. The entity slowly tilted its head. "You're early," it said. His heart slammed in his chest as he demanded to know what this place was. The thing smiled slowly. "This is where you come after you stay." The overhead lights flickered, and the hallway violently stretched. It became an endless loop, doors repeating again and again, each one cracking open slightly to reveal countless figures watching from the dark. His breath broke, and he sprinted back toward the elevator. Slow, heavy footsteps fell directly behind him, perfectly matching his pace. Not chasing him, just following. He reached the end of the hall, and the elevator doors miraculously slid open. Encountering a doppelganger bypasses physical threats entirely. It subverts the one visual anchor we trust above all else to keep us grounded, our own identity. He rushed inside and hammered the button. The lift plummeted down, stopping fast on floor 30. The doors opened to his real floor. It was clean. It was silent. It was normal. Shaking, he laughed nervously, blaming it on a mechanical glitch. He walked down the hall, unlocked his apartment door, stepped inside, and exhaled. He was safe. Then he looked at his living room wall. Scratched violently deep into the fresh paint were 2 numbers, 31, and directly below the numbers was a single line of text: "You came back." He slowly turned around, and there, waiting quietly in the reflection of his dark television screen, was the smiling doppelganger. This introduces the mechanic of contagion. The 31st floor is not a stationary place you can escape by going down an elevator. It is a perceptive entity that latches onto your awareness. Once the boundary of the sanctuary is crossed, the isolation of the physical world dissolves. The anomaly is no longer confined to another floor. It is inside the room.